Greetings. It is Sunday, November 18th, 2018, in the year of our Lord. This is part 3 in a series of debunking the alternative media. And what I would like to discuss is burden of proof. A recent tragedy here in the United States are the California fires. Paradise, California burned. Malibu, California burned. I was stationed in the Navy in Southern California, in Coronado, California, which is right by the border there, very south San Diego with Mexico. The naval amphibious base there. So, I'm familiar with California. I've ridden my motorcycle when I was living there, up and down and around on my time off, and enjoyed it very much, seeing California. And I was a professional surfer. I surfed for the Navy. I wore a Navy wetsuit with Navy on it and gave out recruiting brochures, and the Navy let me get off of work to be in professional surfing contests, and I got to hang out with all the top 10 or 20 ranked surfers in the world and surf with them. Once in a while I beat some of these top ranked surfers and advanced to the next heat and kind of thing, but I never won a major contest, but I participated in them, and the Navy paid for the entry fees and stuff. I just filled out the form and asked to do it, and they thought, hey, that's a good idea. People see a guy who's active duty Navy out there surfing in a pro surfing contest, the Navy might not be all that bad. And they just like immediately loved the idea and paid for everything. The Navy did. And I got out of all kinds of work, and my shipmates and teammates all got mad at me because I got out of so much work to surf, and then traveled around in my pickup truck with a camper shell on it, or my motorcycle. And a friend would take my surfboard, or surfboards plural, in their truck and let me ride my motorcycle to the contests and stuff. I had a blast doing that. So the burden of proof of the alt media is on the person making the claim. Now, I'm a Jew and happy to be a Jew. I'm a Jew by my own will. I looked, and all the religions that my extended family and friends, and Judaism is the one that fits best for me. I love the community. And when they say that Jews with satellites or drones are using direct energy weapons, that's microwave emitters that like you have in your home, except you're using it and concentrating the beam and setting fires, or you're using some kind of laser technology in a drone or a satellite and intentionally causing the fires, because the Rothschilds, which are a mixed family of Jews, Christians, and atheists, it seems like most of the Rothschilds now are technically not Jewish because their mother's not Jewish through intermarriages and stuff, and they don't practice their religion anymore or anything. They have ancestors who were, but some of them are 3/4 or more, English or French or whatever. So they use that old, protocols of Zion, fictional document type storyline to say that the Jews did the California forest fires like they did the 9/11 airplane attacks that were so traumatic. Not just for the United States, but it shook people all over the world. That's been quite a while ago now, but they blame the Jews for that too, just like they do the California forest fires. So that's what I'm giving you specific examples of the alt media, and I know Rockefellers and Rothschilds. I consider them my cousins, through marriages, like distant cousins, and and a lot of these other names. I am a Bruce. I am a Russell. I am a Bundy. So, what they say, the Illuminati families, those are my people, and I don't like the defamation of our character. They like blame us for everything, but we literally, and I mean immediate members of my family, went and literally saved billions of lives through vaccines, and with Norman Borlaug and his program that that we paid for him to, and a whole team of other people, and both Mexicans and others, and European American type people, devoted and worked extremely hard, long hours, trying all kinds of seeds and adapting them to all kinds of different specific locations, dramatically increasing crop yields using nitrogen-based fertilizers, from the Haber-Bosch process of cracking methane and all that. And in some places, we increased food yields by eightfold, 800% increases in a few years. Some places maybe only 20%, but it was still substantial. And Mexico went from being a food importer to a net food exporter. So all this defamation, all this lies, all this attacking our character for on the internet. You know what I mean? I mean, I would like to see a lot of these people shut down. I mean, it really should be against the law to spread a lie saying, that somebody is responsible for the deaths of over 50 human beings and injuries of hundreds, and probably scores of firemen have minor injuries, twisted their ankles or blew out their knee again, or they've got tennis elbow, and from doing hard physical work all day, trying to put out the fires, and then blaming an ethnic group or a certain group of families for the fires or for 9/11 or and such. I know the royal family, the Windsors. They, no matter how kind of absurd things you say, like they're reptilian shapeshifters that eat babies and everything, including a retired corporal from one of Her Majesty's regiments, is on there and gets pretty big listenership, viewership, and he's all with the David Icke anti-royal family, absurd claims. And the fact that the royal family has over 200 established charities, putting billions of pounds a year, and some of it's coming out of their family trusts and kind of hidden money, but they're pumping huge amounts of money into things like homeless shelters and preschool and daycare centers and all kinds of things that are just patently good. You can't really say that a single working mom being able to go to college or to work and build her CV resume by having a charitable place that can do a good job taking care of her toddler while she's trying to better herself and become financially independent, and not need handouts, or she can get a day job working 40 hours a week, 47 weeks out of the year, maybe as a government employee, is a good thing. And that's the kind of thing that the House of Windsor has been paying for on a huge scale. And a lot of it's their own personal family money. And then these people, are just trashed and run through the media. And yeah, there's some dirty stuff going on with colonization. The United States, we killed 3 million people in Vietnam and 1.5 million in Iraq and the Middle East, at least so far, just in my lifetime, in our imperial ambitions, the United States. So there is real killing and stuff going on, and some of it is done by our side, the British and the Americans and the French and whoever you consider your side. But that is not necessarily the Windsors or the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers or the Townsends. We're not the ones behind it all. When World War One happened, for example, if you can go back to the newspapers and you see men with their bowler hats in London, and that was a style of hat back then, their fedora but bowler hats, whizzing them into the air, in all the capitals, in Paris, Berlin, London, Moscow. So the common people were all caught up in militarism. The average guy who, worked as a carpenter, a farmer, an accountant, a lawyer, a civil engineer, those guys, those men, especially the younger men, maybe below 40 and down into the teenage years, they everybody thought it was going to be some great rave fun beach party or something. I don't know, but and you can't just blame that all on a few families that have been economically successful or descended from European aristocracy or Japanese aristocracy or whatever. You can't blame us for everything. I mean, you make us your scapegoats for everything, and it's just not right. It's irrational, and I am literally thrice knighted. I'm a sir, and I took a vow of poverty as a young man, and have done all kinds of charitable works, and have never tried to accumulate any wealth, in spite of all my contacts and being from an old wealthy family. I and that's part of the reason I was knighted, or the reason. I mean, I didn't need to join the Navy and volunteer for special forces. I didn't need to start up soup kitchens and feed children of drug addicts and everything. I did a lot of helping homeless people and illegal migrants, who were in a bad way, at least with the basic subsistence, so that they didn't suffer. So this is, or too much. I mean, they were still going to suffer, but not as bad as they would have. So um, it's all, it's a bunch of lies, defamation, and it's silly, like comic book. A lot of it's just from older science fiction and war spy movie type tropes or templates. That, they say there's only a dozen or so Hollywood movie themes, like the revenge. They kidnapped my daughter or killed my daughter. I got to get revenge. Like Mel Gibson made a couple movies like that, and Liam Neeson and so forth made multiple movies like that. There's certain basic storyline plots, and they just over and over and over keep making movies. Well, people take those movie plots about shape shifting, werewolves, vampires, whatever, and then the stuff that they watch 4 or 5 hours of TV a day. They through repetition they've internalized all these storylines. Then they turn around and just make YouTube videos and call it news and throw it out there. So if you say that there's black swans, which there are in Australia, you get a picture, you can get a specimen, bring it back. You've proved there's a black swan. Or there's narwhals, which are unicorn, smaller whales. I've seen when I was in the Navy above the Arctic Circle on patrol there with the fleet, that there would be schools of whatever, or pods of narwhals out there, and other whales and porpoise type creatures and other animals that I didn't even know existed. And we were just, maybe some of the crew knew about them because they're nature lovers or they had pre-read before they went there, but a lot of us had never even knew a narwhal existed or never seen a large whale before. And these big pods of dolphins swimming by the ship, spinner dolphins and stuff. We'd never seen anything like it, even people like me that have lived in the Caribbean and Florida and such. So it was really something. And the burden of proof, I'm not, if someone had told me that narwhals exist, I might think, I don't. But then I went and I actually saw one. So if you say there's UFOs, for example, I've never seen anyone with any credible evidence that extraterrestrial UFOs exist, and there's just this whole thing to do with them. And I've seen no evidence that angels or demons exist. People, animals like king cobras eat king cobras. Okay, wolves eat wolves, and a wolf pack will always kill smaller coyote packs, or coyotes can run in packs of 20. I mean, in big numbers, because they have to survive. Just like human beings had to run around in packs. You couldn't survive in the wilderness by yourself, basically, because you need someone to always be on guard duty and keep the fires going and that kind of thing in the winter. So you had to be in a group. But 20 or 40 or 50 humans was a formidable force to reckon with. Even if you were a pack of wolves of 14 wolves, that's formidable. But 50 humans with spears, even the women and the younger children, if they're all holding a spear and they've got sticks with fire on them, you can run off a large pack of wolves or scare away a bear, or 2 or 3 bears if they're together for some reason. So the burden of proof is on them. They make all these outrageous claims. They defame the character of some of the best people I've ever personally been acquainted with. People that some of them, are blood family members. I know them to be people of excellent moral character. And you get these alternative media people attacking whole ethnicities or even races of people, and just flagrantly put out lies that they have no evidence to back up. Everything I try to say, like that narwhals exist, there's many sources, and you can go and do your research, or go up to Norway or Greenland and see them for yourself. Okay. So this is part 3 of debunking the alternative media. The burden of proof is yours. Cheerio, and have a wonderful day.